Hey guys, welcome to the 2009 Mercedes Benz C200 Kompressor. This is the avant-garde spec, which means it's a little bit more sporty focused than the classic and the elegance that you find in the range. This car has done 51,000 Ks over the 5 years that it's been owned by the one owner. The owner of this car is a little bit fanatical when it comes to maintenance and all that kind of business, so it's kept in really proper good condition. We've got some lovely wood grain inserts in the doors and some very comfortable leather seats in here. The C200 fits in the C-Class lineup between the C180, which is the absolute base model, and the C250. Now, you also have a C300 above that as well, and then you go into the C-Class 63 AMGs, which I think are brilliant. The sounds of those AMG engines are glorious. The one thing that gets me a little bit uncomfortable about this car is the C180, the C200 Kompressor, and the C250, from what I'm told, all have exactly the same engine, apart from a few little bits of extra equipment as you go up the range. The only difference between the power of those cars is just a computer chip that manages the power. This particular model is putting out 135 kilowatts and 250 newton meters of torque, weighing in at about just over 1.5 tons, I think it is, so just over 1,500 kilos. I think these cars are quite good looking. And I'll show you the outside and the interior in just a tick, but I do have to make a confession. I've always liked Mercedes, so I'm going to try not to be too biased about this car. Let me show you the interior because it is kind of cool. So I have a pretty sweet dash in there. There's a few niggling problems that have happened with this car as well, such as you get things like, rusty wheel nuts if you use the acidic wheel cleaners. And there was a rattle in the boot, which you don't really expect from a car like this. I think this car is about 72 thousand bucks. Today you can pick them up between like 25 and 40,000, depending on equipment and Ks. Another thing that I've noticed on this particular car is this here, right? Let's just turn that off. This seems to be and the sound keeps going up to where it wants to go. There we go. Anyway, so that's a little bit annoying on this as well. Let me show you the outside of it because I do think these look good. Oh yeah, and that's Harman Kardon sound system in this particular car. It's got the Sight and Sound equipment added to it, which means you get fancy speakers and some sweet headlights. Now, what you like to drive, hey? Well, with Mercedes, the first thing you've got to remember is the handbrake isn't so much as a handbrake as a foot and handbrake. So when you stop the car and put it into park, and you normally would, put your handbrake on, it's actually got a foot brake on the left-hand side of the footwell that you got to push down with your foot. You're never going to get it confused with a clutch or a brake pedal or anything like that. It's positioned so you're never going to hit it unless you purposefully put your foot up there. And to release the foot brake, you've got a little park brake on the right-hand side, just below the light switch. Anyway, nothing particularly fancy to turn this on. You just put the key in and twist, really. Handbrake's off. Car's in gear. Let's go for a spin. Doors automatically lock when you go over, I think it's 15 Ks. It's a very smooth car to drive this. it feels like it floats over the road rather than drives on it, which, you know, you expect to have from, you know, Mercedes. It's a bit more luxury. It's not a sports car by any means. Don't expect to be getting, you know, fast lap times or anything from this car. It's not the reason you buy it. The reason you buy it is to have a comfortable driving experience, and that is exactly what this car drives. With the bumps that you go over, the bigger ones you feel, but the smaller ones you hear more than what you feel. It's kind of like the car's going, so you've just driven over a bump, just so you know. It's a pretty wet day here in Sydney. I've been driving this car through some pretty heavy rain to get to where we are now, and it's almost like someone forgot to tell this car that the weather is rubbish. It feels like it's just been driving on a sunny day. There's no problems with traction or losing grip or anything like that. It just has been driving very nicely. It's got light steering, as you'd expect. The brake and accelerator pedals are nice and smooth to use. Every time I get into this car, which has been a couple of times now, it makes you feel relaxed. It's very quiet in here. The seats are very nice to sit on. This is the third generation Mercedes C-Class, which means there's been two different C-Classes before it. Originally developed to be the entry-level Mercedes Benz. I think this is the better looking of the three. The second generation was a little bit old person-ish. If you are prone to being a single-handed driver, which I tend to be, you will find that because it's a German vehicle, the indicator is on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, which means you kind of keep on having to raise your hand up to keep on indicating. It handles city traffic quite well. No complaints here. Those scorchy windscreen wipers are a little bit annoying. I think one of the reasons I'm such a fan of Mercedes Benz is that the amount of technology that you would find in your car that comes from Mercedes Benz is pretty incredible, and you wouldn't even know it. Mercedes Benz have this thing where they like to make their cars incredibly safe. I mean, they're a top-end brand, they should be. However, they are of the philosophy that just because you're wealthy, it doesn't mean only you should be able to have safety. They think everyone should be able to have safety. So things that you'd find in your car, such as retractable seat belts, ABS, airbags, electronic stability control, crumple zones, they've all come from Mercedes. And the thing is that, yes, whilst they have patented these things, they've made it open so any other car company can use it, and I think that's a pretty admirable thing to do. So go Mercedes for that. So as an entry-level luxury car, I think it does quite well at doing what it's supposed to do. It's very comfortable in here, it's very quiet, it looks good, it's got some nice features in here. What do you guys think? Have you driven one of these? Have you owned one of these? Leave me your comments, let me know what you think of it. Also, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, let me know your thoughts on the C200 compressor. Next car I'm driving, I think, is going to be a 1996 Toyota Supra, naturally aspirated. I'm looking forward to it. I think they're pretty cool cars. Anyway, see you then. Bye.